good morning, good afternoon, wherever you may be. Very welcome to today's webinar, Medical Tourism in the Time of COVID-19, organized by Institute for Research and Development of Medical Tourism. The purpose of the Institute is to integrate the medical tourism environment as well as gain and diffuse knowledge oriented towards practical solutions in this field. My name is Anna Bialk-Wolf. I'm the president of the Institute of Research and Development of Medical Tourism in Poland. It's my pleasure to lead you through our discussion. With me are my colleagues, Mariusz Arendt from the Institute,
Hello.
Kiel Jungbo from Sweden, and Pata Ratiani from Georgia. Hello.
Hello, Anna.
I'm glad to have you with us. Before we get to our opening remarks, I would invite you to introduce yourself. Could you start?
Who? Pata?
Pata.
Okay, I will start. Hello, everyone. Hello, Poland. Hello, Sweden, my dear friends. I'm very delighted to greet you all from the seaside city of Batumi, from Georgia. If somebody watching us and do not know me personally, let me briefly describe about my activities. I have been active in medical tourism since 2007. I was founder of the first facilitation company in Georgia and so far served hundreds of traveling patients from Georgia and not only, consulted them for treatment abroad issues, organized many medical trips for international patients, and overall acted as the multifunctional player for the industry. So I have worked with different countries, including Germany, Greece, Russia, Ukraine, in various projects in medical tourism. I have had some TV experiences as well, filming the most advanced destinations for medical tourism, including Far East countries like China or Japan. And I came to the point where last year I was appointed as the president of the newly established Georgian representing body, Georgian Medical Tourism Council. We have elaborated together with all the stakeholders in the country very interesting strategy for the promotion of Georgia as the newly emerging medical tourism destination. And starting the implementation phase and the activities last year. This year, as you know, everything is canceled. I was supposed to participate only in the first half of the year in 7 different international exhibitions. However, everything is postponed and we are all waiting for the better future, which we hope to have sooner than later. Thank you.
Thank you. Kiel.
Yes, my name is Kjell Jungbo. I'm an assistant professor at the Södertörn University in southern Stockholm in Sweden. My specialities are intercultural business communication, and I've also conducted very much in medical tourism. We have conducted research in medical tourism since 9 years in a research group in Stockholm. And we have also conducted a lot of interviews in about 15 different countries, including the United States, many different European countries and many Asian countries. So that's briefly it, and we've conducted over 100 interviews. So now please.
Thank you, Kiel. Mariusz.
I will keep it shortly. I'm very honored to and very glad to have such an opportunity to talk with you, with such an expert. I'm a member of the Institute, so I corroborate with Anna. Our activities are mainly doing in Poland, as well the president of ProTourMed Foundation that focus on promoting medical treatment and offer and technology from Poland abroad, but we are also looking for new opportunities. And I'm in medical tourism business in various ways for 5 years, helping patients, but mainly focusing on organizing and developing medical tourism in Poland. Nice to be here.
Thank you. Nice to see you. Besides my role as the president of the Institute, I'm also assistant professor at the University of Business and administration in Gdynia and do my task in Foundation Procurement Concerns Promotion of Medical Tourism together with Mariusz. Let's go back to the topic of our webinar. We know there is an enormous discrepancy between countries regarding the ability to manage the pandemic. Perhaps it can be one of the indicator or better factor influencing the image of the country, also in terms of medical tourism destination. Perhaps in the future, who knows, these countries which have the best result in fighting against coronavirus will use it as the argument for being better medical tourism destination and have a better starting point to promote themselves as a safe country with a good and resilient healthcare system. By the way, in the most countries with good result in fight with coronavirus are women on the top. But go back to the topic. To get a better look inside the situation in your country, please tell us, how is the current situation in Sweden, in Georgia, in Poland, with special attention to medical tourism? Kiel, would you like to start?
Yes, the focus of the hospitals is very strongly on the pandemic now. Other kinds of treatments have been delayed or postponed due to many of the nurses and doctors and so forth from other fields have joined to fight the pandemic here. That means that the queues have become longer for natural reasons, and also there has been a lot of stress on the people working in the hospitals and so on. Very tough working schemes. So this means that currently the space for medical tourism is very, very limited. And this will probably go on as long as there is an intensive worldwide pandemic. And yes, so that's the situation. There is not so much medical tourism for the moment due to the pandemic situation. And also, of course, due to the traveling restrictions and so forth. Yes, please, Anna.
Common situation for all of us, I suppose. Yes. What about Pata?
Well, regarding the current situation with the coronavirus, fortunately, I have to admit, Georgia has the relatively better positions, and I may say the leading positions in the region in terms of detaining the spread of the virus from the beginning till now. The minimum rate of the infected patients and the mortality. We are at the moment, by the spread of the virus, we are on the 141st position in the world, which in this case is quite a good figure. So presumably what happened in Georgia was different from the experience that the Sweden had. We are observing this situation as well. Local epidemiology and healthcare institutions had an immediate and highly professional response and to the global pandemic. And fortunately, the Georgian government made a political decision to follow these recommendations of the specialists very strictly. And I suppose, therefore, we managed to become one of the most efficient countries in terms of resisting the COVID-19. So Georgia started in the second half of the May, complete reopening phase. And at this moment, all the restrictions are removed within the country. Our 3 international airports are preparing to reopen again for the flights from green zone countries. We have announced 5 first countries entering Georgia. They are Germany, France, and Baltic states, all 3 Baltic states. However, the precautions such as the wearing of masks and disinfection, social distancing remain in everyday life for a long time, for the coming months, before we reach the full elimination of the virus.
Thank you, Pata. Mariusz, would you tell us what is the current situation in Poland?
The current situation in Poland, according to Prime Minister, who said it yesterday, is the virus is under control. The restrictions are almost invisible. I mean, we have to wear masks only in public places like shops and clothes area. But beside this, everything is going back to normality. We record daily around 200 to 300 new cases. So it's not the main issue right now, how we handle with this virus, because it's looked like right now the situation is very well, but how to recover from this? So how to recover the tourism activities, because it's on very low level. We established the flights with almost around the world, but the flights are empty. So we try. So we can say it that Poland is in those countries who going back to normality, but we struggle with new challenges, how to do it and how to prepare for a possible second wave, which almost everyone is looking for in autumn time. Today we have elections, we will elect presidents, so we will see how this will affect in new 2-3 weeks, but we hope that we will have time to prepare for another challenge. But our government said that even if we'll face another wave, there won't be so much restriction like the first time. So we hope that it will stay like this.
As you said, Mariusz, future is the big question. Actually, nobody knows where we go in the future, but let's try to do some prediction. That is why the second question I would like we discuss: what kind of trends can you recognize medical tourism after COVID-19? Mariusz, perhaps can you continue?
I will answer to this question, how much medical tourism is related to tourism. Is it more related to tourism or to medical sector? Because if it's more, I don't think so that it's so much related to tourism, because of different needs. You can postpone going for holidays, to conference or events, but it's hard to postpone health issue. So my prediction is that the health tourism, the medical travelers will recover quickly and faster, because we already receive signals that the patients are waiting, are looking forward to go to make to get the treatment in Poland if they cannot do it in their own country. So it's the matter of the law, the restriction, how the clinics, the hospital can handle with this. And even more, the medical travelers are usually individuals, so it's not big groups. That's why it's easier for them to set up a transport and to get to their point by car, by plane, and not be related to closed borders or any other restrictions. So my prediction.
I would like to add one information about Malaysia. Medical tourism is announced as first tourist sector to be opened in Malaysia. That is why it's perhaps true what you are saying. Sorry for interrupting, but...
Yeah, Malaysia, Thailand, and Turkey, they are the countries that they make an announcement that they will make more effort to promote and to organize medical tourism. So that's the proof of this.
What do you think? What are the most important trends in the future?
As for the post-COVID trends, well, let's say first of all that medical tourism globally is a very diverse. the regions are so different from each other, and the nature of medical tourism in different parts of the world, they are sometimes very controversial and do not correspond to the other markets. So, in my opinion, from the perspective of my region, let's say European and CIS and this Middle East, Turkey, this region, which is obvious, the massive medical tourism will be damaged significantly and for the reasonable amount of time. And the end of this is rather unknown than predictable. I would agree with Anna that very difficult to make any predictions right now, but this is the only thing in which I am sure that the massive medical tourism is damaged already, and it will be a long time damage. So this literally means that fewer segments of international patients will either be able to travel or have desire for it. And consequently, it will affect the whole nature of industry, at least in this part of the world, and reshape it into the more specific niches and specific services and products. And I would say who is well prepared for it, he will benefit, he will be well armed and potential winner in the post-COVID world.
What do you mean well prepared from technological point? Because it's looked like that we lost Kier for a while. Let's wait for him and hope that he will reestablish his connections. Because my point is pretty much the same. We can say about the future of medical tourism from different perspectives, from world, European region, countries. In Poland, there were not the medical tourism, the foreigner patients. There weren't so big part of patients anyway. So
there is no massive income in medical tourism in Poland. So I don't think Poland will be damaged too much.
And the clinics and hospitals, they aren't hurt so much, besides maybe the dental ones, yes, because they related on medical tourism. So
yeah, I agree
completely. So for them, it's opportunity to be prepared for a new ways, like new medical tourism times, and I see a growing interest in our regional level of developing the structure, new products, new way of handling with foreigner patients. So with EU funds, it will help to provide money for this. It can be done. It can develop this more in Poland, but the other country will, beside the EU will have to find the foundations for this.
I think that one of the reasons for developing.
I had mostly the same point. So I mean,
sorry, we have some problems with
internet.
Okay. As I said, one of the reasons for developing medical tourism in the last 20 years do not disappear due to pandemic. In opposite, they are even more important. The reasons are long waiting times for the surgery, high cost for procedure, and problems with accessibility. In many countries, as the result of the pandemic, is the worst situation in the healthcare system regarding other illness. People stop going to the emergency, to hospital, to primary care, and it must have consequences in the long term and increasing problems with chronic disease. That is why I suppose that medical tourism will recover and will be important, but not in the same way as today, as before COVID-19. The increasing role of medical travel to neighbor countries will be probably more important.
I agree. But you know, the point is that what you said, I agree. There are some markets where the strategy was completely, devoted to the topic that the process will be massive. So for instance, if we take CIS countries, or maybe other parts as well, but I'm more expert in CIS. So for instance, most of the Israelis or Turkish hospitals, their strategies were to attract more and more patients. So get more quantities and earn on quantities. So these strategies will be damaged significantly in the particular countries or the players which had this kind of approach. And the players which had the more narrow, narrow niches and played in the narrow segments, they may even get some advantage after the pandemic process.
I will agree and disagree with this, because it's. I would like to ask you about telemedicine. What is the situation in Georgia? Because in Poland and also in EU, we see the growing importance of this technology. The governments lift many restrictions and even force people not to go to hospital unless it's necessary, but use it. So because it's safer and it's easier to
it depends on culture, Mariusz. It depends on the culture and also the specifics of the market. So in post-Soviet, let's say, or in southern countries, southern societies, it's so crucial to meet the doctor. It's crucial to have the personal touch with the service, with the medical service. So telemedicine projects, I have had some connection with these projects, and they were not so successful years back, let's say 10 years back. The societies were not ready. Now they are more ready, but differently in different parts of the world. I think the Northern Europe and the developed Western countries will have more chances to have higher rate of penetration of technologies, including the artificial intelligence in healthcare and telemedicine services. But underdeveloped or developing countries will take more time to adopt this culture. This is a culture, this is a new thing for many people, and they are not even literate how to use it.
It's interesting, but we could observe in Poland that actually in that point we can make a big progress because of pandemic. We thought 5 years ago, 1 year ago, we thought it's really difficult to adopt telemedicine in our country. But now we can observe it is possible, and the development of this sector is really impressive. And it's useful not only in the time of pandemic, but we can observe that it's also very useful tool in medical tourism.
I agree completely. Corona is definitely on the side of developing technologies and more online services, definitely.
Because the telemedicine is, it's not only teleconsultation. It's start to involve mobile devices that helps to monitoring patient states anywhere. With this kind of tools, hospitals will be ready to serve patients anywhere else. And the patients won't be able to travel. And sometimes it's obviously it's more efficient because it's costless, it's more safer, unless you have to go for specific procedure to the hospital. If the hospital, the government will build environment and product that will be attractive to patients from anywhere, that will give them possibilities to serve people from all around the world. And that will be like the case for a new times. Whoever first established this and make the whole concept of this and new strategy, I think will be the winner of new times.
So the artificial intelligence, I would say this is not only telemedicine. Telemedicine was perceived as only the distance consulting by the teleconsultation. But if we talk about artificial intelligence in healthcare, it's definitely the future. The only question is when and where first and where the second and so on. So, but for the developing part of the world, I think it will take time. But this process that we are observing now in the world, the pandemic and global penetration of online education and so on, it will only help to speed up the process of penetration of artificial intelligence in healthcare and improving health by new tools.
Crisis is always connected with some improvements. Telemedicine is the proof that it's true. I would like to try to connect with Kiel. Do you think it is possible? Hello, Kiel. Let's try once more.
So we are still waiting for Kiel. Have you heard about the concept of smart hospitals? I'm also getting familiar with this. When you said artificial intelligence, it all combined this with big data, monitoring system, and even robots that help to serve patients in area where which are restricted or very dangerous for people. And that way, it's also, I think, we will in some times have to change the definition maybe of medical tourism, because now it all depends on traveling process, moving from
like the term global
hospital.
healthcare, all the healthcare globalization. I am a very big fan of the globalization in general. I think this is the step forward.
It's actually another
the system. It's all together, telemedicine, e-health, and artificial intelligence. That's all together the future technologies of the healthcare, and very, very well connected with the future shape of global medical tourism.
I can
Should we
observe
continue with other
some problems with connection with Pata just now.
Now, Pata, I see Pata. Kiel is back.
Hey, Kiel is back.
So we have one more topic as far as I remember.
Yes, we are waiting for Kiel, I hope. Hello,
So
Kiel.
yeah, I'm back now, but maybe there is a connection problem. So maybe I very briefly could answer the two questions before I'm interrupted again. Yes. So what I would say is that the general, perhaps, preparedness to travel globally could, of course, be lowered due to this pandemic among people in general. Second, people who undergo medical treatment, they, of course, often are in a very vulnerable medical condition. And these two factors could make it more difficult for them to travel. On the other hand, as Marius said, there could be a priority for medical tourism among other kinds of traveling. But as you know, we have seen now business traveling and all these things have gone down as well. So it's not just tourism, it could be traveling in general. That could affect medical tourism as well. Another thing regarding what will happen in the future. Well, I think that maybe people will rely more on internet technology and so forth, like assisting personnel in other countries while doing treatments and such things. So these things could play a role actually and influence the way medical tourism will develop. But it might also be
it's funny that you said that because where you were out, we were actually talking about the role of telemedicine, how it will grow. So without hearing this, you have your thoughts go the same way as we were.
I think to finish with that subject, we can add the increasing role of trust in destination. It would be also a very important topic, responsibility. And I would like we have also more collaboration with scientists, because if the politician would have more respect for a scientific article, the whole situation with pandemic could be perhaps avoided. We'll see what brings the future.
Yes.
Would you like to add something?
I have a question. Last question. We have a few minutes time yet. Who will be? So your final thoughts. Who will be the winner, and who will gain more benefits from this situation? Who country will be or country or region will go first and try and take the most from the new tort, new piece of new cakes of medical tourism.
What will be the new most popular destination, countries, or perhaps procedure?
Yes, so I think there maybe neighboring countries, regional countries, that there will be more regional traveling and less global traveling, so to speak, due to this, because there are different ways. I mean, you can travel maybe not only by airplane, but by train or bus or boat or whatever. So that could benefit neighboring countries, perhaps at the expense of very far away destinations, due to the risks of traveling and so on, particularly in airplanes. But that's one, and that could benefit, of course, a country like Poland being very close to Germany and so forth.
And Pata, what do you think?
So we talk about the changes we are expecting now. So from my perspective, the primary strategy for the global tourism industry and including the medical tourism in the coming months everywhere will be to facilitate and promote the internal movement of the local tourists. And the secondary, opening the borders for the tourists from the safer destinations. So here I disagree with our friend. I don't think the neighborhood is sometimes more safer than the faraway destination. So for Georgia, for instance, for neighborhood, in our direct neighborhood, we don't have safe destinations, and we are intending to open the borders for a relatively far destination, but safer destination by the direct flights. So in medical tourism, we expect the higher interest in the wellness services in Georgia, as well as the narrow medical fields such as dentistry, hair transplantations, plastic surgery, ophthalmology, and others. Having the let's say COVID-free attractive recreation zones here and the developed infrastructure, we pretend to strengthen our positions in the region and broader, as well as by the charming places to treat the international patients in the safer environments. I expect the development of the new products such as the senior and elderly tourism, long-term care, community and village tourism. As I see, this is the emerging products for Georgia, and I hope that our country will benefit from the process, and including the medical tourism industry will become even more durable in the future than it was before. So we will have new strategies, new niches, and new products to offer to the broader segments of the market, and not only in the close neighborhood. I would say the world is becoming even smaller by the pandemic, and the distances will not matter too much.
My picks are, I think that the country who are the smartest and well organized will do the best, and like Korea, Malaysia, EU, from Asia, and from the Arabic country, and from Europe, Turkey, Czech, and of course I hope Poland as
and
well.
Georgia, don't forget about it.
I think one thing here is important as well, and that is, of course, two perspectives. You can see it from the receiving end, and then, of course, Papa, you are completely right in that sense. But you also have to see it from the potential patient's point of view, how prepared they are to travel. And they might be more inclined to travel, at least in the shorter term period, shorter distances than very long distances. When the pandemic is well past, maybe the distance does not count anymore. And then what your perspective could very well be the one. But the countries who have treated the pandemic very well and would have an image gain in regarding medical tourism.
To sum up, we agree that the future is really difficult to predict, but we also agree that the telemedicine will be important, neighboring country will be important, and the world of medical tourism will change. Thank you for joining our webinar. Would you like to?
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Take care.
Thank you very much. and good luck in the future.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Bye.